Hey, how your mom and dad? Welcome to the Far Reaches podcast. We are four friends from Eastern Oregon who've traveled the world and wound up scattered across the U.S. Join us as we get together to talk about current events, old events, agriculture, politics, movies, books, stocks, love, and even a little bit of life. No, we don't always agree, but we stay friends and even enjoy a few laughs. We think you will too, so come on along and enjoy the ride. And don't forget, keep on reaching. Hey, don't forget to stop by our special friends at B&K Auto Salvage who help bring this podcast to you each and every week. Folks, with over 1,200 used vehicles in stock and a large selection of 4x4 parts available, that's always being updated. B&K Auto Salvage is your Eastern Oregon one-stop shopping for the automotive world. And be sure to listen very close every week for the Far Reaches promo code that's going to get you discounted pricing and bumps on those prices on that scrap. So that's our good friends at B&K Auto Salvage. Make sure you told them the Reacher sent you and listen every week for the promo code to get extra savings. Hey, how your mom and them? You know what that means. It's Far Reaches times, kids. Welcome back. We are still here. Oh, I got the awful feedback coming from the freaking Facebook thing. See, that drives me crazy. I still don't know how that all works. Good day. Welcome to the Far Reaches podcast. I'm Micah. That is Brawley. That's Richard and a Hound. Joel is en route from a massive dart game. The man is a menace. We are Far Reaches podcast, brought to you this week and every week by our extremely good friends and so generous friends. And where, Raleigh? Who sponsors this thing again?
I don't remember what their name was.
Some schmucks. B&K Auto Salvage, kids. That's right there in beautiful Eastern Oregon, in LeGrand, and beautiful Breaker City. New promo code coming soon, but still have promo code LGB for discounts on pull parts and a bump on your scrap rates. Stop in there and tell them the Reacher sent you. Don't forget, just give Bo a call on his own phone too. There, 541-963-6744. Tell them the Reacher sent you. Thanks again. Welcome, Ralls, Richard. How are you?
Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm watching to see what Richard's up to next.
It is for those of you who are watching this live or will be watching it on a replay. Richard's in full cowboy action right now. So I'll describe it. This is like, this is good radio host training. So Richard's in a side-by-side or, if you want to call it a razor or something along those lines, maybe a fancy gator. Camera's on the dash. Richard's got a crappy straw hat on, his old man shades, and a border collie. And so we're getting the good view right there. He's bouncing across the field, it looks like, because we lose the image every once in a while. It's a Polaris. I have confirmed it is a Polaris. I don't know the model yet, but so Richard's in the front seat. Dog's just sitting there like he, has a seatbelt on too, and they're tearing across the tundra. That's what I got on my side. So it looks like sometimes the phone keeps falling. We need to invest and get a good camera mount for Richard. I think that's good overall for like year round, just a camera mount for Richard.
That would be good.
Matter of fact, I'm sure there's money on the table not having a camera on Richard, camera on you, and I'd throw in pot roast and Uncle Buckwheat too. If we just had cameras on you four a-holes, I would just sit back and narrate the day. Let's go live to see what Buckwheat's in. We just go to the Buckwheat cam, and then we're like, we're gonna go to the Roastville, see what he's doing. Let's go check out the boys down there at Dave's. Like that would be. He wouldn't be like, what's that cop show, like Live PD or something like that?
I really don't know what sustainability that would have with the rest of the world, but they would be entertained.
We would only get one day of episode of that, but man, it would be invigorating. Yes, so I know exact field Richard's in. He's out there. He's he's west of L-Town. I can see he's got the window cam going for us. There's a speck of mud or two on there, a couple cracks. That's probably the best windshield in the Bradbury outfit right now. So it's the cleanest. I'm really thinking about this Ralls and Bradbury roast and Buckwheat camera system. I think I could just literally host that all day long and just switch back and forth to different camera feeds.
I'm not sure how well that would work, seeing that I'm not in service very often.
Yeah, we might have to change the names and blur the innocent, but the FBI would probably sponsor that for all the footage they'd get. Yeah.
Speaking of them, I think they'd like to have the footage from their little encounter the other morning at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they're like sublimity. That must have been in my head. So I don't say those letters out loud very often. Yeah.
Well, I just heard that they informed everybody when they showed up that they wanted all the camera systems shut off, and it sounds like they weren't.
Yeah, I mean, like
now,
yeah.
Now they want the footage.
Yeah, you can want in one hand and shit in the other. Like, I'm not turning my cameras off in my house for you assholes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. That's like, why would I ever do that? You want the footage? Congratulations. Yeah, I'll give you the footage. I'll make 10 billion copies of it before I send it back to you.
Yeah, I just put the footage on Facebook.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Right here on Far Reaches. Absolutely. Good God. Outstanding. Well, what's that?
What was the good God? Are you watching Fox News right now?
No, I'm not actually. I have the Mongol Derby screen up over here because it is 9:15 a.m. there to check on Shandy and Amy and their progress. So that's what I'm looking at. Yeah. Oh, I love it. So yeah, I don't have anything else on, so that's a good.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mean it that way. As far as you know, I have shorts on underneath this table, but I mean, other than that, yeah. As far as you know, yeah. So turn. I have, I've gone on the old man mode where like at 9:15, like if it goes into sleep mode. So like if you try to call me or texting or whatever, it just goes to the ether, if you will. So
well, that's all right.
Well, not ever. Like there's one person who gets through, but that's a different story. Yeah. So
sometimes you can't sleep.
Exactly. When she calls her text, I'm going to pick up. Yeah. So that kind of helps weed out all the other non-hackers, they would say, and Full Metal Jacket parlance. Yeah.
What's your reach around looking like?
That technique's a little rough, but oh, I'm sorry. I get you. Yeah. That's for those of you just maybe watching this or listening to this the very first time. So, some of our loyal listeners send in suggestions, and we've got different segments, if you will, on this here podcast event. The first one being kind of like an update, if you will, from all of us far reachers. And somebody suggested we call that the reach around. And so I suggest that we did that as well. So that's what we officially call it. So, Richard, don't forget to close that gate, honey. It's a little weekly update. So, yeah, it's been, I know we promised last time we were on the air it was going to be more frequent, but, life
happens.
Life don't care. Yeah. And so as they say, you want to make God laugh, just tell him your plans. So, yeah, it's been an eventful few weeks for sure. Yeah. A lot going on at work, a lot going on in personal. We had, I'll try to talk about this tonight and see how I do. One of our roommates from college passed away recently. There was 8 of us as the core that lived in what we call the White House. And so Fester, I think everybody probably knew him as Fester. I think his Christian name was Jason Laney. We found out recently he passed away from a heart attack. And so it hit me pretty hard. It hit all of us kind of differently as well. But that was last week. And so it's been that's been a down. There's such beautiful people in my life that have helped me talk through that and live through that. And so it's just it reminded me too, like to not take days for granted. I know everybody says that all the time, but it truly did. And so, the poor woman I'm dating now, she was in Vienna, and I'm like, honey, I don't mean to rain on your parade, but I got to talk. So, it's like 3:00 in the morning, my time. So, that was wonderful. Raleigh called, Richard called, a lot of other friends called and texted. Chelsea and Bill, so there was such a weird connection there. Says Chelsea's from the Salem area. That's where Fester's originally from. He hasn't been there for a long time. She had run into him in his work at the fair or somewhere he used to sell stuff all around. And so she had an autographed vase that he had done, and I'd never seen him sign anything on the bottom besides with his swirl. And those maniacs shipped that vase to me. I just got it yesterday, which was completely unexpected and really touching as well. And a nice, really nice note inside. That was just their favorite piece that he'd ever done, and thought I should have it. So it's on my dining table now. And so I thought that was really cool. The girlfriend, she got me. She was in Murano the day after, and they make like really special glass there, and she got a glass bowl for me that's kind of colored like a lot of Jason's stuff was as well. I brought that back. So that was really cool. Richard, I know exactly where you're at right now. That's so cool, dude. Look on the coming up on the high school on the left here in a minute. So yeah, Richard's checking cows and then just blast down the road in his razor. So yeah, I'm sure I'll talk a bit about this too during the podcast, but that's been sort of the focus the past week. I had a rough couple of days of work, but my sales team, rallied around me as well, which is way cool. Because that's things you don't go through very often. But yeah, that's sort of a weird reach around, but it made me appreciate everybody in my life even more than I thought possible, and really like exponentially appreciate people, appreciate what you have, appreciate the remaining 7 people that we have on our group text. He's still on our group text, so he's still going to be getting our dumb messages back and forth all day long. So don't mean to start it off with that for everybody else, but it's a beautiful experience when your friends rally around you. And so I thank everybody that did that, and all the messages and notes. And so yeah, Fester, you bastard, this is for you. So Ralls or Rich? I guess we'll go to Ralls since Richard's still in transit. They're just going by the high school gym, coming up on the middle school. Raleigh's making faces at Buster. Yeah, I'm guessing that's what you're doing, giving
Buster's
the look on your face and where you're looking at. Yeah,
Buster's getting cranky here because I'm not paying enough attention. Do you want to come up here and be part of this? Come here, stink butt. Come here, you little diaper filler. Yeah. Sit over here.
Curtain climber. Yeah.
Earplugs. There we go.
Turd burglar.
No, it's, I don't know.
Another co-pilot.
Last time I was on here, but it was just been hanging. Started second cutting here yesterday. Started outside. Hey! And if I turn on and off, it's because Buster's playing with my headphones.
Not a problem. We got Richard yelling at dogs and everything else. This is full reacher time, man. Yeah. And Buster's gonna go ahead and unplug me here because he loves anything that's a cable or a rope. Raleigh unplugged. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Anyhow, we're just plugging along through summer. Kind of watching the markets. Yeah. Trend up and down and make lots of noise. Sold some calves, didn't do too bad on them. Oh, are you pissed now? Sorry. That'll learn you. Yeah. Yeah, it's just life is happening. Kind of watching wasn't really paying attention to the world until here lately with the news and whatnot. Same here. Yeah. Yeah, just kind of was ignoring stuff for quite a while, and a little curious as to where our world's landing here right now. But not a whole lot new. So I don't have a huge segment to offer there. Just seeing, and I know that nothing comes to mind. Hey, and you're in second cutting, so you're hammering. And I will give one other update, pardon me, as well. But we had him on podcast a few times over the past couple of years. But Amy McNamee and Cheney Johnson are both in Mongolia right now, doing the Mongol Derby. I'm actually watching their progress live on the TV. So they've left Station 2 and riding to Station 3 right now. So they're in this race, man. They're doing it. So pretty cool. For those of you out there, you can go you can just Google Mongol Derby or the equestrianists.com, which is hard to find it on there, but they're 12 hours ahead. So we're recording this right now. We're coming to you live at 9:20 p.m. So it's 9 a.m. over there in Mongolia. So you can just click on the riders and it shows you where they're at. She's about almost halfway between 2 and and Station 3. So that's pretty cool. You need some tracking and distance covered, etc. So quite interesting.
I've been off mute this whole time.
Yes, you have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We fully expect it.
I bet that wasn't annoying at all.
Well, Ralls and I were talking. We were just watching you. You pulled up and I heard, hey, and then you must have like loaded a dog or something. But yeah, we haven't heard anything from you since quite some time, actually. Clear down in the field, even. Yeah. Probably some dynamite drop-ins, I'm gonna guess. But if you're ready, we'll take your reach around, Richard. I think he froze.
I think so.
But that's a classic. Well, I've been on mute this whole time. Like, dude, what were you saying? Like,
Oh, now he's back.
never mind. We got this nice, just like a Lakeview tour. We came down from, for those of you familiar with where we were at, we were west of the baseball fields and sewer ponds down there on the Bradbury estate. And then he rolled up through town past the high school, on the backside of the high school, though, then to the Hacienda, which is a mainstay. Those of us who have stumbled home to that place many times, looks like he's headed. Yeah, and here we have a Mr. Joel joining us as well. So
Oh man.
Richard's headed to the homestead place, aka grandmother's old house, and Joel's walking down the street from Darts. Joel, good day, my sir. Good day.
Hey, yeah, I'm just walking home from Darts, and then figure I'd dial in.
I love it. Richard was just out checking cows, it looked like, or water or something, and jumped in the pickup. Ralls and I are stationary, and then we got mobile unit 1. Shit, I don't think we've seen Joel since Christ was a kid.
Well, Richard's been complaining about drought conditions for 4 years, and now gets a little rain, and he's complaining about rain.
Yeah, that's the way of the rancher, That's
Can't
one of my
satisfy these people.
yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite jokes.
It took me 5 hours to find my horses this morning.
Jesus. Richard, why don't you give us your update if you can? Are you in a spot you can do that?
Oh yeah.
Is that a deer walking across the street?
Yes, sir.
I thought so. Yep.
This is her hood. There should be a little baby around here somewhere.
Somewhere.
I saw this box this morning.
Is that one of your horses?
They're just getting more efficient these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Richard steps out in the street and gets ran over in Lakeview. Yeah. Not even on the main gut.
I already T-boned somebody this week.
Well, I'm sure for legal purposes you can't describe too much about that, but good to see you're all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That Safeway parking lot can be tricky, man. I tell you.
No, I miscounted the hospital street.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And then there was a bunch of branches over the top of it. So.
Well, tell us about this here storm that just blasted through then, if you want to. I mean, it's your reach around. So we're just riding along.
What? The reach around. I'm not quite settled yet.
Oh, okay. Joel, you want to reach around?
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say that out loud on the streets of Brooklyn, but go ahead. Yeah.
What is this again? I forget.
This is kind of like your little update. Yeah.
What I've been up to? Shit, I haven't been on here for.
I know. I had to reintroduce you like 3 times. Like, yeah, you guys don't recognize this guy, but yeah.
Well, I spent a lot of time about a month in Pendleton. That was good.
Outstanding.
Saw the best concert of my life, which was Turnpike and Shane Smith on the same night.
Yeah, that would be.
It's fantastic. Then, like, the next night was a little bit of a letdown, It's like they went overboard on Friday night, and Saturday it was, what was it? It was Micah and the Moonpies. They're pretty good.
They're pretty good, but man, coming back from Turnpike and Shane Smith, that would be. They tried to. Yeah, I'm sure schedules didn't allow, but Shane Smith on the second night probably would have helped out a lot. Anyways, those are awesome shows.
Yeah, and then went on Alaskan cruise.
Oh yeah, with your mom and everybody else, right?
Yeah, and Alaskan cruise. Yeah, it was a good time. I went to Skagway,
Yeah.
Sitka, Juneau. Yeah, that was the first cruise I've ever been on. Really liked it. Going on
Outstanding.
another one over Christmas, I think.
Oh, awesome. Where are you going?
I think a Caribbean deal,
Nice.
Bahamas or something.
I've been looking at that. There's like, you can come out of Jacksonville now, which is real close to me for like dirt cheap. I was talking to my barber the other day and she's taking a cruise here out of Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's like a very affordable vacation, I feel like.
Yeah.
What else? Playing darts. Joined a softball league. Been playing softball.
Church
easily
league,
the best.
softball, fist fight.
On the bar team.
Perfect.
I haven't done any physical activity since I tore my ACL like 4 years ago. And
and you were quickly reminded of that, weren't you? Yes.
Yeah, and I wasn't even sure if I could even knew how to run anymore, right? Like,
yeah,
I hadn't tried to run. And I hit the ball and I guess instinct, I ran. Every time I do it, I just like the next day I feel like I got hit by a truck. And but I gotta keep showing up. Best player on the team, you know.
Good God. What's the rest of your team like? My goodness.
I don't think anybody else on the team has ever played baseball in their life. Like, they can't throw the ball, they can't hit, can't field.
So
we
many
won.
Times you're just like, you're killing me, Smalls. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've played in 5 games. The first 2 games I was brand new to the team, so I only got to play like a couple innings, and then I complained to Jimmy, who's he's my darts leader, but he's also in charge of the softball. And when he got back into town, I told him, you guys want to win, I need to be in the game. And so we barely lost the first game this last Sunday because our second baseman made like 4 errors in a row. And then nobody can pitch. Like, they keep walking people in slow pitch softball.
Oh,
so
good
like,
grief. Yeah.
Our last game, I was like, I'm pitching this time. I'm going to pitch the whole game. And didn't walk anybody. Like, it's super easy to throw the ball across the fucking plate, you know? And we won the game. I went 5 for 5 at the plate. But every time I'd hit, I'd either get like mostly doubles. I got a couple singles and like 3 or 4 doubles. And then I'd like have to wave somebody in to come run for me.
Oh, I'm gonna start calling you Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, like pitching and hitting, like you're a dual threat, Joel.
My knee is killing me. And anyway, so I've been playing softball, and
that's cool.
Tomorrow night I'm going to a stand-up comedy premiere. Went to the Stand one time and struck up a conversation with one of the comics. His name's Tyler Fisher.
Okay,
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was super nice, and he chatted with me and Jess for quite a while, and then Jess ran into him in Brooklyn. Turns out he like lives in this neighborhood.
Oh, the hell.
I was like chatting with him on Twitter. And I was like, because he's like a anti-woke comic, you know. He's like, you know, he was against like the New York City vaccines and mandates, and he's in that. You know that movie that called Terror on the Prairie? Have you heard of that movie?
I have not. No.
It's like the Ben Shapiro produced movie. It's a Western. Has Gina Carano from.
Oh, I know her. Yeah, she was on Mongolian or whatever, not the Mandalorian. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one that got fired by Disney for like her criticizing vaccine mandates, and they fired her.
Yeah.
So she stars in it, I think, but he's in the movie. So he's kind of like he's doing pretty well. But
that's interesting.
He invited me to his comedy stand-up. He has a special coming out on YouTube tomorrow.
What's his name again?
Tyler Fisher.
Cool.
So I'm going to go watch his premiere, and then there's an after party. So that'll be fun.
Outstanding, dude.
Yeah, that's
You're kind
I
of
don't know.
making New York into your Pendleton. I like that.
yeah. A good time. Nope. Did you get to see her?
I did. Yeah.
Nice looking.
Oh, that's awesome. Anything
Anyway,
else? That's
no,
cool. Wow, that's awesome, dude.
things will come up. I'll
Yeah.
remember.
That's fine. Richard, reach me around.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whoa, Buster. Buster's in
For
the
those of you
house.
not watching the video, Ralls just popped down and Buster's in his little tricycle motor outfit and he come boiling across the front room right into the screen. So it's perfect. Yeah. So
I'm sure this will be our Caster award-winning episode.
absolutely. Yes. Now we have to check that box, dude. Did Sharon appear in your video? Yes. Yeah. So
He's developed this habit of running as fast as he can, then sitting down and picking his feet up, and he just glides across the floor and squeals. It's pretty entertaining.
nothing like his dad at all. Yeah.
No. It's like every time you hear it coming, it's like hearing the rainbow doors open.
Yeah, exactly. just a little version of the flaming asshole. Yeah. Coming right at you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Richard, what do you got for us, brother?
It's been an action-packed few weeks. Has that been 2 weeks since we talked? Or did we do it last week?
At least a few weeks on the, yeah.
I heard you talk a little bit about Fester, so you got that covered.
Yeah.
Oh man. It's summer, and it seems like fall's starting faster than we want it to.
Welcome to Lake County. Yeah.
I'm getting all sorts of text messages. We're bringing the cattle off the buttes tomorrow morning. So
Okay. Everybody's coordinating and reminding you what time it is. And
I seem to be the only one that talked to everybody. So
you are, for any reach around, there's got to be somebody in the center. I would call you the social hub, perhaps, is a nicer way to put that. Yeah.
God dang. Sorry, it's been a busy day. So there's a mega 85-mile-an-hour storm in Adel last night. Rained like, I've heard anywhere between an inch and a half to like a half inch to inch and a half. And
that makes sense. Yeah.
Tore up trees, tore the power out of my house. Took me 4 hours to find my horses today. That was super fun. So
yeah, I bet
they had wandered far. So and they seemed happy to go back to their little sand lot. So we'll see how
I don't like this stuff out here.
Hey Mike, I'm switching screens. Let me in on the other one.
Okay, when it shows up. Yeah.
Okay.
I got a bunch of renegade cows trying to break into hay fields in Lakeview. So
that makes you popular. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's been they cut the hay and then of course it rains every other day.
Naturally.
Yeah, so we're getting good, nice green growth in where they cut the hay because it was the last place it was irrigated, and so they just love to break in and raise hell with all that. They got like 20 acres left to put in bales.
Of course, it's just gonna.
I've been fixing fence at night. Yeah, real estate by day. So
that should be on your coffee mug, dude, or something like fixing fence at night and real estate by day. Yeah. What's the key to your success, Richard? I would sum it up as fixing fence at night and real estate by day. Yeah.
Yeah, so I found the horses, got them back to their sand lot. There's a mudslide between Lakeview and Adel, which nobody has any clue what it is, but there's a big giant rim that runs about maybe 75 miles, and there's only one place to get off of it.
Yeah.
And there's mudslide right there. So I had to leave Lakeview this morning, drive all the way to Plush, which is, I have a lot of practice driving that way.
Yes, sir.
And then from Plush to Adel, then go around and see everything, what the damages were, and then spend 4 hours finding the horses, then go back to Plush. Of course, I had to have a hamburger with Dave and the Heart Mountain store, and then back to Lakeview just in time to send some real estate off before the hay crew let me know that the cows had once again escaped into the hay meadow. So
that's a pretty busy little day right there. Really.
And then I
Mostly, yeah.
I was super anxious because I don't want to miss the Far Reaches podcast.
I can't blame you there either. I mean, and now you know how our listeners feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can't miss that. But I'm just visualizing that drive. I'm kind of giggling a little bit because there's been times it took us 4 hours to find horses, and we just said screw it on that exact route. So
I think you're trying to develop this as one of my patterns, but that's not necessarily the case.
no, last time it was our own storm that did its end, not a Mother Nature event. So
But what other Richard got his tonsils out last week, or
oh goodness.
yeah. The days are running together.
Yeah.
So Richard who?
Little Richard, R3, R3.
Yep. Anyway, so
did he get the ice cream afterwards, and do they still do that?
it's a really great sales pitch, but you can really only eat about 3 things of ice cream before you get sick.
I got you. Yeah. See, I still have my tonsils, so I always heard about that, and I love ice cream, so I thought about just having them. I just eat ice cream and pretend I had them out anyway. So
Maybe because I don't trust the establishment at all or whatever, but is that really necessary to get your wisdom teeth out? How many people just get it out because like the doctor says?
we're talking about tonsils.
What did I say?
Did you do wisdom teeth?
Same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Same idea. Like, what do you need to get your tonsils out for?
Where did this guy come from?
So I have neither out, and I didn't have to take my wisdom teeth out because I have missing a tooth.
Oh.
So when my wisdom teeth grew in, they just pushed everything around. They're like, we could take them out. I'm like, they're really not bugging me, and I don't want surgery, so no.
Yeah, I had mine for a long time. Then I woke up one day and I couldn't open my mouth because it had like shifted and pinched a nerve. So I was like, hey, this is a really shitty deal. And so that's why I took mine out. Yeah, because they literally jacked up my head.
When I got my wisdom tooth taken out, like I literally felt they pulled it, and I felt like my face just like do like this circle thing. Half my lower jaw was numb for like 3 months. They fucked up a nerve.
I would say, yeah.
And then they're like, come back for your upper ones. I'm like, no, I'm all right. I'm not gonna get this taken out.
No, that's spectacular. So how's he doing? Doing well?
He's doing good. Yeah. I tried to feed him Ritz crackers. We were out in Adel. And I said, hey, of course there was no food.
Yeah.
Because his dad was in a hurry and didn't consider the needs of a 4-year-old. But we do have some food out there in the house, but it's not really post operation type of food. So I said, well, we could have Ritz crackers, and he's like, nope, that would scratch my throat. And I'm like, yep, you're right. Good thing you were paying attention to the doctor. And so we settled. I gave him a spoon and some peanut butter, and we made it.
Oh, there you go. Good. That'll keep him busy too.
Yeah. So child services will be coming for me after they hear this podcast, but he's still alive and kicking. So
hey, you're just teaching independence and listening to details. Yeah, like, oh, good thing you're paying attention. Yeah,
not like the naked children down at the crack house playing in the street. So I think
no,
I'm doing it right.
Yeah, you're far and above. Yes. Oh my God. This is why I really needed this, because I usually laugh my arse off anyways, either on the podcast or after. So thank you. Yeah. So, but no, was any damage to the house? I saw there was limbs all around it.
Well, so Surprise Valley was out last night and got my neighbor's house up. Nicely rolled my the down wire that was going to my house up in a nice little coil, and then left. I thought, well, they'll probably come back and fix it today. And as my mom said, you probably have to tell them that you want it fixed. And I'm like, there's a big tree over it. And my house didn't have any power. So, and we have an Airbnb guest, which I have put up in a hotel, Lakeview, the Hunter's Hot Springs. So I have to go back to all my numbers and find him so I can reconnect with him tomorrow. So he was only staying for 12 days. So we're off to a great start.
Falcon. Hey man, he's out in the wild, wild west. Shit happens.
Yeah, he was pretty cool about it. So
Give him a chainsaw and get that tree cut up and get that wire hook back together. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Jesus. Oh my goodness. That's beautiful. That's quite the reach around right there. Yeah. And I appreciate that. Yeah. Joel, you got golf clubs in the background too, man. What's going on there?
Yeah, dude. I brought him back. I got a new golf bag, new club heads, Beaver, Oregon State club heads.
I thought so. Yeah.
Brand new fancy golf bag, Callaway.
That's got to take 2 or 3 strokes off right there.
Yeah, there's no place to put golf clubs here, so I just have to sit there.
It's nice. It really matches that. It kind of brings that motif all together. Got some art and stuff back there, a little bookshelf, and then your golf clubs. I think it's really nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
that looks like the artwork from the Foundation series.
It almost looks like something that belongs in like Atlas Shrugged or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that was on some of the Foundation books.
They call it art.
Background.
Can you even call it art when it's mass-produced shit from IKEA or whatever?
I don't know.
I'm not going there with you, Joel. I'm not want to get in trouble with your significant other.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely
I
wonderful.
was looking at that picture behind, at least the picture frame behind Raleigh there. I was wondering what's on the picture.
Oh, that's his mule.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Probably the mule. Yeah.
Like the
That's
picture
all.
frame.
Roast the mule. That's what that is.
I'd rather have 3 of those behind me. That'd be sweet.
3 asses in your front room. Yeah. You don't like that art, Joel? It's like it's kind of like a sequential kind of series thing. It reminds me of like the overhead view of like when you're farming in a pivot. That's what it reminds me of. Like you got your disc tracks, and then like I don't know. Yeah.
It's ag
That's
art. Yeah.
It's ag art. Yeah, you need to know. And then it's like, see, now you like it. That's better. Yeah. Well, I think we had we talked about doing entertainment spotlight last night, but I know I didn't even get the movie watched again. So it was Chinatown, by the way, because we were talking about water. So I don't know if anybody saw it or.
It's only streaming on one random streaming platform.
Really? I don't know. What the hell would I find it on then? I don't know. Where's it at? What were you watching it on?
I should have rented it on Amazon, but I just never. I looked it up and then I decided I'd rather watch finished Pinky Blinders and started The Good Doctor.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Seems fair. Yeah.
I can talk about my theory about The Good Doctor and House. I haven't figured out Good Doctor yet. Have you heard my theory about House?
No.
Is the Good Doctor about the autistic kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a doctor.
Yeah.
It's still on the TV?
Yeah. Well, I've been watching it on Hulu.
Oh, yeah, so
because House is still one of my favorite shows. I watch it still. I just
because
probably watched all the seasons 2 or 3 times. So
you have a theory though.
Yes. So House is a sinner, and he's going through all the sins like gluttony, greed, all those things throughout the period of the time. And you realize that there's always the 3 doctors with him. They represent the Holy Trinity. And so each one of them helps him navigate through the sins that he's trying to overcome. And when he's overcome that sin, then the doctor switches out.
Dude, I'm thinking back through episodes and you're like, I think you're spot freaking on.
So I'm trying to find the sub theme in The Good Doctor, and nothing's coalesced yet, but I think that guy that writes House is pretty amazing.
I don't know. I just watch TV and movies differently than you do. There's just no way around that. Like I could probably just watch House all freaking day, and I don't think I'd ever pick up on that.
If you realize that they interweave philosophy through it and theology through it all the time, and there's always some philosophical or theological debate on almost every episode.
Mm-hmm.
And and a lot of times it's the doctors and the patients that are going through it, and he sort of observes, but at the same time it has a correlation to his redemption.
Are you sure they do that on purpose, not just accidentally stumble on to that?
I think if you find that much pattern in it, it's got to be interwoven intentionally, I think, or maybe subconsciously by the author, but I doubt it. I think it's intentional.
And if you look at some of the like series, like if you remember the DVD things, there's one like where he's spread out, it looks like an angel.
Oh yeah, the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if you went back through the covers, you'd see different religious motifs throughout it.
Wow. Yeah.
So house is deep, huh?
That's crazy.
On multiple levels.
Yeah, my brain's hurting right now. Like, I just, I guess I've caught that on some things maybe, but not. It's very rare I ever get that depth of anything that I'm taking up in that manner. So
I think when it started coming together with me is it was the doctor that was the plastic surgeon, and he had a lot of issues that he had to work through. So,
wow, yeah, that's awesome.
Have you guys watched The Terminal List yet?
Yes.
I just heard about that.
Dude, put on
Chris
your
Pratt was talking about it.
Put it on your to-do list for sure.
I started watching. It's fantastic.
Who was I talking to today? Somebody made it. Oh, it was my buddy in Texas. He's like, yeah, I got a couple episodes in and stopped. I'm like, you must have been in a wrong frame of mind. Yeah. Because it gets good quick. I think I watched the crap out of it. Yeah. So
I feel like they were hiding it from me. Like I had to actually search for it on Amazon. I never heard of it.
you're shitting me. It's got like
Why isn't Amazon recommending this?
it's
something I should watch.
billions of minutes of viewing, dude. Like it's like shattering all records on that. That's why they're hiding it, because it's like non-woke, and they're like, pound sand, like this guy's a badass. That's why, which is so weird.
Yeah.
It ought to be like driving you insane every time you log into Amazon and seeing it.
oh, I don't. Okay, that's the Chris Pratt one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack Carr wrote it,
Thank you.
and he's actually in it as well later on in one of the episodes. But the way it starts, like you don't know for sure what's going on. They did a tremendous job. Yeah. You're like, is this guy going crazy? Is, like you don't know. So I won't ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I do highly recommend it just because I've read a lot of that guy's writing already. And then Chris Pratt like really does a good job of bringing it to life. So kudos to him for sure. Ralls, have you seen it any? Probably said yes. Yeah.
It's nodding.
I imagine there's chaos in the background of the Raleigh estate right now. So he's just like, yep. Yeah.
No, it's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I've watched it. I don't usually. I don't know. We've got Amazon and Sling and all that happy horse shit you get on TV, but I don't watch a whole lot of stuff. But I do kind of enjoy those military series that they have, and that one was pretty good.
Yeah.
And,
I'm telling you, you really like Peaky Blinders. It's amazing.
It's pretty good. You kind of got like the last season or so. I was like, but I stuck with it. But yeah,
I really liked the last season because it introduced the Nelson guy, who I'm pretty sure was Joe Kennedy.
oh yeah,
And
some of it was okay, but yeah,
but he was playing. So he was basically playing the same game that Tommy was playing, just in the United States.
exactly.
But you never saw that he was actually. You just got hints that because he was working for TR, and you just got hints that he was playing both sides too.
Most definitely.
Never got confirmed, but
It's I mean, you guys have seen that. Joel, have you seen that before?
No.
Yeah, it's early 1900s England.
it goes
Gangster-
from
gangsters.
1911 to 1921, I think.
Yeah.
So all
Those are two interesting words to put together. Peaky Blinders. What are they referencing?
the cap that they wear, and then they sew razor blades into the cap of it,
Yeah.
and then they cut the eyes out of their rivals.
It's like early British gangster stuff. Cillian Murphy's in it. He's the main dude. One of the main dudes. You'd recognize him when you saw him. Fine Irish lad that he is.
He was a great actor, and he's going to play Robert Oppenheimer in a movie coming out.
Oh, that'll be interesting. He'll nail that. Yeah.
Looks
That'll be.
super awesome. And then the Stephen Knight, the guy that wrote Pinky Blinders, who I think is a brilliant writer, is writing a British series about the SAE,
SAS.
the SAS, the British Secret or Special Forces,
Mm-hmm.
and the Deep Desert Brigade that's trying to kill Rommel when they're in Africa.
Oh, cool.
And like that story is fascinating. Stephen Pressfield wrote a book called Killing Rommel, and it's one of the only true history books he wrote because he had befriended one of the original Deep Desert Brigade guys and befriended him. And the guy had been trying to write a book since he got out of the World War II and never could put it together. And so he was working with Stephen Pressfield, who's an amazing historical writer. He writes historical fiction. So this was his first true history book that he wrote. And he was able to take all the research that this guy had gathered and all the firsthand experience tales that he had told him and write it into this Killing Rommel book. And what that Deep Desert Brigade did during World War II in Africa was absolutely amazing. So it's going to be cool to see it told like Pinky Blinders on a big scale. So
very cool. Interesting. I had not heard about all that.
Yeah. So it's supposed to come out anytime. So I'm super excited to watch that.
Do you know where?
It's going to be on BBC Plus, and then I don't know how it'll get here. And then the interesting thing that Stephen Knight wrote was one of my all-time favorite movies, and it's the one with Bradley Cooper, where he's the cook, called Burnt.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's got the greatest opening scene of all time, where he's shucking the oysters, and he's got his little book out, and it's a penance, and he shucks 1 million oysters in Louisiana. And when he gets to the 1 million, he just quits and he goes back and starts in the restaurant world.
Dude, I don't know if I've seen all that before or not. I don't think I have.
Yeah, Burnt is probably one of the most underrated movies. It's sort of like that movie I really liked, Flesh and Bone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was really well written, and Bradley Cooper did a great job, and the characters in it are just amazing. But yeah, I really, when I went back and looked at Stephen Knight's filmography, all the stuff that he wrote, he has a really amazing body of work.
Interesting.
Well, that's enough of me dorking out on random stuff.
Dude, that's what this is all about, isn't it? That's what I think. Yeah. Hey, Rawls, I'm going to ping on you for a second. You had a cool interview a while back with Oregon Cattleman. You want to talk a little bit briefly about that? Not, you can tell me to pound sand, but I think it'd be interesting to share a little bit about what you were yammering about.
Yeah, it's a good interview.
I don't really remember all the details of the interview. It's been a couple.
I just pictured like on freaking Old School. What happened? Did I black out? What happened? Yeah.
He was talking about the challenges of being a first generation cattle rancher.
That's
essentially Todd Nash, the OCA president, and he's also a county commissioner here in Wallowa County. He started doing some random interviews for OCA's website and Facebook page and whatnot. And I don't know why he thought he wanted to interview me, but he did. And I think probably
you're close by. You talk on a podcast every once in a while. I think you're a good example.
I've kind of involved myself in the local chapter of the stock growers and OCA, and involved myself with the on a state level with the OCA Wolf Committee, and just I don't know. I think he felt the same importance that I feel about how getting involved needs to happen more so in our industry, and so he just randomly in the middle of July messaged me and said I'd be interested in having an interview with you. And I said, well, when I get done with my first cutting, I'd be more than glad to come sit down and do that. So it was good. Just like Joel mentioned there, he more than anything wanted to kind of go over the challenges that we face as a first generation rancher, trying to get my feet wet in the business. And I think we covered some high points. I think, in hindsight, days after, I thought of other things that I could have talked about. But it was just a random interview that he wanted to put on the OCA sites, and he's done quite a few of them. I think he did one with John, our Wolf Committee
John Williams.
Yeah, John Williams, and that was more involved detail wise with the wolf issue that we all face out here. And then I think he did a marketing one. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and check and see who he did that with, but it was a good one. So he's kind of just trying to get more involvement through social media with producers and members of the OCA to get ideas, thoughts, no different than what we try to do here with some of our stuff. Just wanting to get more involvement.
You guys talked about, I think he asked a question about, you're basically saying that cattle ranchers are generally pretty old people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
nearing the point of retirement. What do you think is what happens after those guys have to hang it up? Is there enough people coming up behind them?
Yes and no.
Replace it?
That's part of his point, I think. Yeah.
So I think the average age of the rancher is 62 years old right now. And
at least, yeah.
And that's something that's going to become more prevalent in the next 10 years than we really want to think about, because there's going to be a lot of guys that they just can't do it anymore. I mean, this is a laboring, hard work type of a living. And in our country, we're out there daily in the wintertime for 6 months out of the year, and then in the hay fields in the summertime. So it's not something everybody wants to do. And I think a lot of the younger generations don't want to come back and do it for multiple reasons, I'm sure. One, they make more money going to town and getting a job, sitting on their ass, not having to do as much. So there's challenges and struggles for the industry, I think, coming up there. Richard, you could probably allude to that even more. But that's something that Todd's passionate about, and I think he sees some of those same passions that I have. And tomorrow we're actually, out of the blue on Monday, he messaged me and he says, I really want you to come to this event. And there's a town hall in Enterprise with Cliff Bentz tomorrow. So we're going to go attend that. And I don't know. My involvement, I didn't think it would get to this point. I mean, yesterday I had to run to LeGrand to go do some banking, and Cliff Bentz's office actually called me and asked me to make sure that I was going to be there, which I thought was rather interesting. I don't know what I think that just my involvement with their contacts through the OCA have been something I've kind of become a recognized person that they want to talk to. I haven't quite figured out why. I don't usually have much good to say, but so it's
we don't want you to run for office.
Honestly, I was gonna say, honestly, right now, I wish someone from a similar background or lifestyle would involve themselves in office, preferably presidential office, with what's coming down the pipe. I get so pissed sitting in the tractor or in the swather today thinking about what's going on with our government right now and all the bullshit going on back there with Trump and all that. Our government needs a house cleaning like no other, and need just good, hardworking people that don't want to make a living out of it, just want to go back and serve for 4 years and come home.
It should be like jury duty, man. I maintain that.
I mean, honestly, there's days when I would love to have a debate with some of those jackwagons, and it frustrates the shit out of me to see where our country's headed and where they're leading it right now.
you hit the key word that drives me absolutely insane is they keep talking about the leadership of the House and the leadership of the Senate, and
Yeah.
they're not. They're
They're
not.
not-
It's not
there's
how
no
it's
leadership.
designed. I mean, they're not leaders for shit, but that's not how it's even set up. They are our representatives there.
That's the whole frustrating point for me is them jackasses cannot get
That's
it through
the whole
head. We
frustrating point. Yeah.
we're in charge, not those butt fucks.
Precisely, but they're always
Swing.
like, the leadership of the country. Like, they are not the leadership of the country. Hey, even if they were supposed to be, they sure as shit are not. Any of them. But they're not. It's not how it was designed. But that's how we've let it just wander into the ditch. Like, sadly state.
So many crooks. Like, we all, I'm sure you guys have all heard about how Nancy Pelosi does her stock trading and makes a shit ton of money off of that,
Always.
right?
Yeah.
But there's an account I follow on Twitter called Unusual Whales, and they kind of give like stock tips and advice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while, there used to be an account that just tracked Nancy Pelosi's stock trades, but now Unusual Whales took it up tracking all of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And once in a while, they'll post like, "Here's how your Congress people did versus the S&P 500." Who's always at the top of that list? That fucking list is Ron Wyden. That guy.
Oh yeah.
He must be doing insider trading. He is always.
You ought to hear his ad that he has playing out here on Eastern Oregon radio right now to get reelected. I just want to crawl out of my swather and puke.
He's a fucking crook.
And he sits there and talks about how he's done so much for the Eastern Oregon folks, and how when the VA was going to shut down here, and the nearest place that they could go was to Spokane, and he came in and saved the day. Gag me, you jackwagon! You don't even live in Oregon anymore.
Yeah.
You're
none of them do.
You're a resident in New York City now, and you're running for office in Oregon.
I sat next to his wife at a dinner one time at an Oregonian event in New York. What a fucking cunt! Just Jesus, just stuck up to all. Jeez, her family is so his family owns that big bookstore in Portland, right?
Was it Powell's? That one?
Is it Powell? Yeah,
that's
Powell.
one.
And then her family owns Strand bookstore in New York City, like a big.
Oh, but yeah.
But besides that, I mean, he's just doing insider trading. So the CHIPS Act, he did some short-term investments, made 125% profit in like a month just trading stocks that were related to options, probably actual equity. But that guy's got to go.
It's absolutely, it just sickens me. Because we're never going to hear about Paul Pelosi and his DUI and the drugs and all his trading, because he's the one that actually does the trading also with Nance. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it is absolute just. And there ain't none of them. I'm not talking about a left or a right wing thing. Like, that whole system is just, it's just hosed, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't know why they're allowed to.
Because we allow them to
trade. Yeah.
Because like, I think when you're president, supposedly everything goes into a blind trust, as they say. I still don't believe that but they should be audited every quarter, and we should see everything. There's no way you should go into Congress making $100,000 a year and a net worth of 500 and come out of it.
Maybe that's why
net
they
worth of
hired
100 million.
Maybe that's why they're hiring the 87,000 IRS agents to audit Congress.
I'm sure
that's where they're going. Yeah, I say we put them some bitches on the border. They can be audited in those people. Yeah, like how are you going to like enforce our tax rules when like we don't have a border, man? And I'm like, and I'm not some weird like globalist dude. Like, go anywhere else in the world and you just can't wander into a country. Like you just can't. Like everybody always says, oh, if so-and-so's elected, I'm moving to Canada. Good fucking luck. You just cannot move to Canada. They won't let your dumb ass in unless you have a job and a skill and you go through this whole process. Everywhere's like that,
Yeah. busing these people to New York and DC is the latest news story that I'm just like, you guys are out of your mind crazy. Like, New York City is a sanctuary city. You're welcome here. Okay, Abbott's like, all right, fucking here's some of them.
Mhm.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, not here.
I think
Yeah,
I'm going to send a bus down there to go knock on doors. What are you talking about? Fucking dork.
Yeah, like what? Such a mess. It's like it's not a political issue, man. You need a secure border, like always. Like, yeah, we're all immigrants, but you go through the process and you get here. Like it's just completely broken. And the fact that they're saying that it's not is really just drives me. And again, it's a thing like you're totally, like they say, gaslighting the shit out of me. Like, there's nothing wrong here. Look over here. It's like, no, it's broken, man. Like, step one, fix it. We're a country of immigrants. We want everybody to come here. Just do it legally. What's the wrong about that, man? Come on.
We're not a country anymore.
That's the whole idea. I think, I don't know what, yeah. It's like, I don't think you couldn't accidentally be screwing up.
They said it well when they said Banana Republic.
Yeah.
Because we're there.
It's mind blowing. And we're still hanging on. Like that's the beautiful thing about it is like, despite all this idiocy, it's still one of the best places in the world to be. No doubt. I mean, you go anywhere else in the world, and there's gonna be some little fun things about it, but like overall, still, it's one of the best places in the world, and we'll bounce back from it. Always has. Like if it don't, it's just gonna break. But like the system we have in place is not working anymore. Like it
needs to be scrapped and gotta start over at some point.
There's no way you should be able to be in Congress for 80 fucking years old. For one, you shouldn't make it your career. That should not be a job in this country. I'm sorry. That's not it.
Just monetary policy alone.
Yes. That's a great point, Joel. Yeah. Well said. Yeah. You're talking about no other political aspect besides the monetary policy. It's completely in the ditch. Intentionally.
As soon as those other countries like Russia and China, and I think India is involved, and some other countries, I think they're trying to create a new currency that could replace the US dollar for petrodollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if that ever happens, that's game over for our way of life, which is fine. Shit. You gotta. You need to go on the Bitcoin standard.
What's going on with Bitcoin? I haven't even checked on that recently.
It's starting to recover.
Okay.
Yeah. It's up to back up to, we hit a low recently of 17, 18,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's back up to 24. It's on the uptrend.
Well,
inflation came in today at the low rate of 8.5%. So people are pretty excited about 8.5% inflation.
Yeah, the low rate. Yeah.
It's not going away until,
but
they always measure inflation against 1 year. It's year over year. So it's this number came out July of last year. It's not going to be better until February or March when inflation first came in at 7 whatever percent, and then look, it's down to 2.
Yeah, no wait,
but it's 2 on top of last year's 9.
That's gas prices are down 78 cents. Yeah, but they're up 3.85. What the hell are you talking about, man?
Biden just came on today and said it was 0% for the month of July.
He did. Well, what he's referring to is that inflation stayed the same. It didn't get any worse in July. So there's 0 versus growth, I think what he was talking about is last month it was 8.5, and this month it's 8.5. A little bit less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're well, saints be praised. Yeah.
Yeah. And not to mention that their measurement of it is nonsense, right? It's based on, what are they based it on? Is it based on, it's just core goods.
I think that's what core goods. That's right. Yeah.
It's not based, I don't think they account for all the costs that we actually pay for.
So do you think, have they passed the bill with the 87,000 agents of the ironic, what's it called, inflation decreasing bill or something like that? Of 700.
The Inflation Reduction Act consists of $300 and some billion of basically ESG initiatives and
Taxes.
basically doubling the annual budget of the IRS. They already have job postings out there. You got to be able to carry a weapon and be prepared to use it with deadly force. Fucking IRS.
What?
Yeah, I think that's always been the case. Like if you're an
Is it?
IRS agent, you have to be able to, you're armed, but this is exposing a lot of stuff that I don't think people are really paid any attention to. And it's, you got the IRS out there hounding. I don't know. They say that they're not going to go after anybody under $400,000 a year in income, but I doubt that's going to be the case.
That's not even true now.
Yeah.
Right.
How, like, okay, so they're gonna have to be checking everybody to figure out who's making 400,000 or less or more, so it's like
I have a great IRS armed agent story from my time at UNR. So I was taking this accounting class from this really cool guy that was the CFO of Harris Casino in Reno.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know how many properties there was, but he would bring in like old 1970s ledgers and show us how they moved money around in the casino and the old before Excel. It was awesome.
Dude, that's awesome.
So as a courtesy to the federal government, UNR invited the IRS to come speak to the accounting class. And so they sent the guy that shut down the Mustang Ranch, and he was a real, anyways, piece of work.
Yeah, horse's ass. Yeah.
Anyway, so at this time they had just shut it down, and the guy that ran the Mustang Ranch was like this beloved figure.
Wait, it wasn't Mustang Ranch.
Yeah,
the original
Mustang.
The original.
Because
yeah. What was that dude's
Mustang
name?
Ranch, if we remember, Mustang Ranch is owned by my cousin. My grandpa Harlan's sister.
No, we're talking Nevada. Brothel.
Yeah. My grandpa's sister, Annie Mick, her son is Lance Gilman. And he owns the Mustang Ranch.
He might now.
Yeah.
This is the guy he got it from. Anyway, so the way they got them was like they got Capone tax evasion.
Yep.
Anyway, so they went and busted the Mustang Ranch and arrested everybody. And this guy was the lead IRS agent that did it, sort of like Elliot Ness, or at least he thought he was like Elliot Ness. Anyways, he had no self-awareness that he was in UNR, who at that time it wasn't like the new politically correct UNR. It was still the everybody
University of Nevada,
miners and ranchers and guys that were born and raised in Reno doing hospitality work, and when Reno was a little rougher around the edges. And he was talking, and he was beaming with pride and like totally self-aware that his audience was not into him. And he was holding his gun up and his badge up, and he's like, if you get up high enough, you can get a gun like this. And IRS agents just don't sit behind desks and push paper. Sometimes we get out in the field and we kick some ass and blah 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 blah.
He actually unholstered his weapon.
Yeah, he was showing it. He had it up and he was showing it, and just totally. And there was a guy in the back sitting next to me. And he occasionally just got coughing his hands. Oh, and the guy that was the professor, well, he was Carson City, Reno through and through, and just he was a bass guy from I think up around Battle Mountain, and like was having none of it. And finally, it just got so annoying. He just goes and grabs the guy by the shoulder and the arm and just escorts him out the door and says, "All right, thanks for coming by and visiting." The guy goes, I'm not. And he just pushes him out the door.
So like, no, you are. Yeah.
Yeah, he closes the door and he goes, as long as I'm your professor, you are never going to have to sit through another prick like that.
But I'm not done. Oh, yes, you are. Yeah, you just don't know it, but you are so done. Yeah.
Grab my food.
But
That's one of my professors in grad school and undergrad used to say, Never give a nerd authority, i.e., somebody who's been maybe picked on. Yeah, and that's exactly what that dude was.
So many of these initiatives that they're trying to get through these days, with like whether it's ESG or you could even talk about like the gender income gap, climate change. They spend all this money on it, and there's no accountability. There's nothing like no look back 2 years later and be like, did it work?
No. It's
Like,
dude, it's
how
all
long
about
have
the
they
posturing and like we tried. That's all.
How long have women been making 73 cents on the dollar that a man makes? And how many fucking things have they passed, initiatives have they passed, and money have they thrown at this thing to try to close that gap? And it doesn't work. Same thing is happening with climate change. Is here's $350 billion at it. Like, are we going to say it's immeasurable? You can't.
Well, that's the main point. Is there's nothing you can measure on it for one.
You
What's
can't fight
success for two?
They fight
nobody
racism
ever says
and
like
climate change, these invisible problems that there's no metrics to look at and say, is this getting better? What kind of return are we getting for our tax money through direct taxes and through the process of printing money and just throwing inflation at it?
There's nothing the government gets involved in like that ever comes out better. And if you can point it out, I'll be glad to listen. But
I think the thing is that they don't. I think we know that they aren't trying to fix the problem.
No,
they need the problem because they need something to campaign on. They don't want to fix it. They want to nurture it.
Like, absolutely,
protect it. They need it.
You pretty much.
That's what college kids don't understand either. Like these activists, they don't understand it. They don't have enough life experience. They haven't like believed it, and then be like, wait a minute, you guys aren't fucking doing anything. They never had that come to Jesus moment to
No, but the government officials need those college kids because that's where they start the divide. And
way sooner than that, actually.
Way sooner than that. But that's when they start hearing it back from the kids that they trained early on.
Yeah.
It's all about creating a division, and the only way that you retain your power and retain your positions that they all have is to create divisiveness amongst the general society. But the general society becomes so complacent they forget that them assholes are supposed to answer to us, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I equate it to the old Looney Tunes cartoon with the sheepdog and the coyote. Remember that? Morning, Ralph. Morning, Sam. So like that's our politicians like walking up to the door, and one's checking the box. I'm a Democrat. One's signing in. I'm a Republican. During the day, they're la la la. I'm good. You're evil. Blah blah blah. End of the day, they both check out of work and go have drinks together. Like, night, Ralph. Night, Sam. You know, like there's no difference between any of those assholes.
You know who we need to? Everyone needs to look into him and probably talk about him more. Like, so for the next presidential election, I would be fully on board with Ron DeSantis, right? I think he kind of talks the talk and walks the walk. He does what he fights back against a lot of this nonsense. But there's a guy, Dave Smith, who is going to be the Libertarian Party candidate. He's a pretty young guy. He's probably a couple of years older than me. I think he's in his early 40s, and he's a comedian, or he was a comedian. Got really into. He has a really good podcast. Dave Smith, you can look him up. But just if you listen to his podcast, this guy, he's just perfect to run for president, because with a stand-up comedy background, he's going to be up there on stage with Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, or whoever, against whoever the Democrats. He's just going to make him look silly if they give him any time.
Yeah.
During the debates, he's just very well trained. He's one of the best in the world at comedy.
What's his name again?
Dave Smith.
Oh, that's what I thought you said.
But he's brilliant. He is very well versed in libertarian theory. And everything he just talks about on his podcast makes so much sense. If somebody like that were to get in, you get a little bit of trust back in the system. I think
I
they
hope
would.
so.
You really got to just gut the FBI, the fucking CDC, get out of the World Health Organization for
Mhm.
good.
Department of Education.
Get rid of
Yeah.
the Department of Education. Fuck those people.
Yeah, I don't want Trump to run for president again. I like some of his policies. I don't necessarily care for him. I think he's much better served if he just wants to go fundraise for people. I don't necessarily want to lose Ron from Florida. I'm pretty selfish because if we've seen anything the past few years, local government is really extremely important as well. You know, the direction that your state goes based on your government leadership is very important. Now, if there's somebody good we could find to go take the place of Ron here, that'd be one thing. But I'm all for Dave. I'm all for somebody who's just like real, for one, puts the citizenry of America as a priority and is realistic about what's going on. That's not too much to ask, I don't think.
That's
Like that's why
Yeah.
Trump resonated with people so much. Is like, we need to be energy independent. I absolutely agree. Like we can always work on new technologies and promote solar and green, like, but we have to be having our own stuff here at the same exact time. You know, like there's nothing wrong with putting resources into other things, but like I still laugh about the fact that everybody's promoting electric cars. Yeah, California's already like, hey, don't run your air conditioning because the grid can't keep up. You're like, so I'm supposed to run all electric cars at the same time? Like, what are you thinking? You know, like we can't even run that system as it is, and yet everybody wants to push to an electric vehicle. Like
charging their electric vehicle with gas-powered generators.
Exactly. Yeah. And or like you're still plugging in everywhere. Like what's making that electricity? Probably a coal fire plant somewhere. It sure as hell isn't a nuclear power plant or hydro, you know? So like again, I'm like, I think electric cars are really badass. Like I totally do. But the whole like focus of like, this is how we have to go. There's zero infrastructure for it. And it doesn't make any logistical sense. Like if you want to put a nuclear power plants, so we actually have the power to actually run our existing needs for one, before we start just like absolutely hammering it with every other form, like you know, like
Well,
cart horse. Hello.
The media also completely glosses over how damaging to the environment mining for that. What is it, lithium or something for the
mining
battery
for that,
material?
and then what do you do when the car's done? Like that's like, you think an old junker car sitting along the road is bad? Dude, that is a freaking paradise of roses compared to the Tesla that gets wrecked or just dies finally and has to go somewhere. Like, what do you do with that? Like, it's awful.
Yeah, like the battery is more expensive than the car. It's like total.
What's the remediation plan for the battery pack on any electric car? Like that can't be easy or cheap or probably not even efficient yet. Just saying.
And
yeah. So like
everything's
there's these great ideas and stuff. But like, let's just think about it. Let's put it in order for one. You know, like if we learned anything in the past few years for COVID, like we rely way too much on outside sources for really important shit, i.e. a lot of pharmacy, fuel, food, etc. So, you know, why we're doing what we're doing now to not have that anymore, you know, like you're either the dumbest person in the world or it's intentional or maybe both. But I think yeah,
I think both sides, and I'll say this about Democrats too,
mm-hmm.
to their credit, and Republicans. I think both sides are just like fed up with the other side, in their opinion, sort of promising things that they can't deliver. And each side is basically, I don't know, you just get lied to a lot.
Well, it goes back to what you said earlier. Like, there's no measurables. There's no measurables, Joe. There's not. That's the whole, like, you know, like think about all the money we've been dumping into Ukraine and all that stuff over there. Well, for years and that kind of stuff. Man. What's going on there? Is that really a war zone when half the celebrities in America are over there hanging out with President What's His Dick? Like, seriously? Like, hey, why?
The most bizarre event of my lifetime, I feel like.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed strange. I can't. Yeah, the 5-year thing I was talking about, like, 5 years now, we're gonna look back on a lot of this shit and be like, what in the absolute lunacy? If we're able to even, like, by then it's gonna be a change, like, you know, like, well, that didn't happen. There was no lockdowns, there was no mandates, you know, that's gonna be the story pretty quick. So you're like, no, I was there. Yeah, like I remember when you said if I got a vaccine, I'd never get the virus. Yeah. Okay.
It's called gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
That's what
Yeah.
that used to be.
That's not what gaslighting is. Yeah.
Only
That used to be like a.
when a Republican does it to a Democrat. If a Democrat does it to a Republican, it's something else.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that, Joel?
Then you don't understand the definition of it.
Yes, you're there. Yeah.
Well, I kind of remember when that term kind of emerged.
That was early COVID, as far as I remember.
Gaslighting? No, that came out in.
Well, I mean, that's a really old term. Like its roots are way old.
I first started hearing it in about 2007, 8, 9, somewhere around there. Yeah, that was early on of the kind of like, wasn't the Me Too movement yet, but it
was fracking. There was a documentary called Gaslighting about the fracking industry, and that's when it came. And that's when they were going around and burning the methane.
Mm-hmm.
That was supposedly coming out of the water taps that had been coming out of the water taps before they had ever drilled there.
Yeah.
Well, they drilled water wells, but like you go down here on the south side of Lakeview, and the wells here produce methane so they actually have to pump the water out into another pond and then have a booster pump it down into the irrigation system because of the methane. And there's no fracking here in Oregon. So
yeah,
but that documentary was gaslighting or gaslit or gaslight. I don't know what
there
it
was
is.
a 1944 film called Gaslight as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go to I'm at the wiki. So
well, are they using that term like how we currently use the term gaslighting?
Loosely defined as making someone question their own reality. The expression, which derives from the title of the 1944 film Gaslight, became popular in the mid-2010s. Also used to describe a person who presents a false narrative to another group or person, thereby leading them to doubt their perceptions, become misled, disoriented, or distressed.
Yeah, the first time I heard about it was in terms of like dating in New York City. Women started complaining that men were gaslighting them. I guess making women question their own sanity. In the dating world.
According to the American Psychological Association, it once referred to manipulation so extreme as to include mental illness or to justify commitment of the gaslighted person to a psychiatric institution, but is now used more generally. Think about that. Like, if 2 or 3 people gather around and say you're insane and you start denying it, you're kind of fucked because it's pretty hard to prove that you're not.
Yeah, it came out around the same time as they started talking about cisgender. being cisgender, being like I identify as a straight guy, mm-hmm. right? And I am a straight guy. Whereas like a transgender versus transgender and non-binary and all that stuff. But I remember hearing about those 2 terms around the same time and just being upset about it.
Interesting. But mainly, yeah, it's like, pull up and your house is on fire. And someone's like, no, your house is not on fire. No, everything else is just not on fire. That's not your, is it? Yeah. Wait a minute.
Fiery, no. But mostly peaceful.
Yeah, exactly. Mostly peaceful. Exactly. Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait to see like the political ads that Republicans are going to run during the next election cycles. Like they're gonna be fucking incredible.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Yeah, I know it's one of these where I always wonder because you look about history, you hear other people talk about how crazy shit it was and how stupid it was. And you're like, okay, how bad is it now compared to that? Is it really that bad, or is it just that we're all in it? We can't really realize, and that's why you don't know till later. But
after watching the Peaky Blinders, I think that little flirtation that Europe had with fascism, I think that would have been pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. Seems like it for sure. Yeah.
And I'm sure when the Spartans
talk about that more, Richard. Would you like? I don't know what you're talking about, but I feel like fascism is a term that has completely been bastardized.
Oh, dude, it's a gaslit term.
Yeah. What is fascism? And where has it actually existed in the world?
Cuba, I think it's the closest.
Yeah.
Spain for a while. Prior to War One, Mussolini, was it?
Mussolini, yeah.
Yeah. And then Hitler would have been considered a fascist. But
It's
That's the
weird because
idea
even if you
of-
look at, so like I had to go to Wikipedia because I'm just so curious what they say. A far right authoritarian ultranationalist policy ideology.
Why does it have to be
philosophical-
far right though? Can't
I-
you get rid of that? Any side could be a fascist side, right?
Yeah, it's not far right.
no,
It could be far left. It could be a
Well,
far
it
left
was-
fascist,
it was-
right?
it paralleled the Socialist Party
Yeah.
and Peaky Blinders. And that's not right. And they're the
Yeah,
same. Yeah.
It's so I really did think it would be that far off on Wikipedia.
Well,
That's
did you
interesting.
see what happened on Wikipedia? I used to donate to Wikipedia all the time, and I decided a couple weeks ago I'm never donating to them again because they redefined inflation.
No,
And then
yeah.
they locked it.
No, recession. They redefined recession. Yeah.
And then
That's
they
right. It was,
locked-
yeah.
Yeah, and then they locked it down so you couldn't change it. So they're never getting any of my money again.
So if I go to Webster Dictionary, political philosophy, movement, or regime such as that of a fascist that exalts nation and often race above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of opposition.
How can you look at the right wing now and be like, those guys are the fascists? It is absolutely
The antithesis thereof. When you talk about the nation and often race above the individual, and stands for centralized autocratic government. So like the one thing I think for me, I'm a conservative individual. I think about the power of the individual. That's what it's all about. The empowerment of people, and not a centralized government at all. And not a dictatorial leader at all. It's a government of and by and for the people. And no severe economic and social regimentation. Very little, if any, is forcible suppression of opposition. So the classic rule for the left is accuse your opponent of doing what you are doing. So when somebody calls you a fascist, it's because that's what they want. Like it's no better example than this. Like Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and then you look up Wikipedia, and those are the two definitions that it starts off with.
I would
I mean,
say we're seeing the early stages of fascist philosophies creeping into our government.
Mhm.
Basically, what the FBI did was something you would see in a fascist state.
Yes, exactly. Forcible suppression of opposition. That is the
Yes.
last part of that sentence right there. And we've seen it. Like if you disagree with me on whatever topic it is, you are obviously the most evil, corrupt, moronic person in the world, and you should be shut down. Like I'm taking your Twitter away, I'm killing your job. All of that we've seen the past few years. It's
But
Well,
you
fun.
have,
and
to
also-
question, you have to question this is where it goes that goes back to the analogy of the sheepdog and the wolf.
Mhm.
Our state posture to Edward Snowden is fascist. Our state posture to Julian Assange is fascist. So
Yeah.
and that crossed both political parties because Trump if Trump, and I'm not saying that Trump's fascist, but my mind was blown away when he did not pardon Snowden or Assange.
Yeah. I really thought he would. What did you have, Joel?
I don't know. I wonder
Oh.
if in those cases, I wonder if they know something that like I wonder if Trump went in there with every intention of doing that, and then gets informed of something that's like, oh, okay.
I don't know. You never know, man. Like,
It's the optics of it. I mean,
Mhm.
regardless, I mean, I would really like to know which deep, dark thing that Snowden did that's so bad that he can't come back to the United States,
mhm.
other than basically expose the government and NSA for massive monitoring of the public.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's I think we haven't done word of the podcast for quite a while, but it's going to be fascism, I think, this week, just because of like how different. And I know Wikipedia is not really, but a lot of people consider it a source because it's supposed to be open, like open source opinion, basically. But they got the freaking dictionary still online. But yeah, if you look, the very first thing it freaking Wikipedia was literally far right. And you're like, I don't know what that has to do with it at all, man. Like, seriously.
There's supposed to be a documentary coming out. Oh, the Daily Wire about banned books.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I would never. Why would you ban a book? Or
Daily Wire is the same outfit that did that Terror on the Prairie that I was talking about.
Oh, I missed that part. Did you watch that?
I haven't watched it yet, but I need to. And I also want to watch that Matt Walsh's documentary about what is a woman.
I watched a bootleg one of What is a Woman, and it's amazing.
For Matt Walsh?
Yeah. And then the new Jordan Peterson. We talked about Jordan Peterson's thing on it that he does every week now for Daily Wire. It's amazing.
I really like
Daily Wire is one of the fastest growing websites in the country.
I would think so. Yeah. Jordan Peterson is really that guy intrigues the crap out of me.
It's a far right fascist.
Obviously, yeah.
Like, what does that mean? How is Jordan Peterson a fascist?
Did somebody actually call him that? I'm sure they did. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it.
But that's the old rule, man. Like, what's that? Saul Alinsky's rules of what's the name of that book? Rules
for Radicals.
Yeah, but that's like one of the main rules. It's like just accuse your opponent of doing what you are.
I was gonna say that that's one of the best books you should ever read, Joel. And it's gonna be bad every page, but the one that the book that I've been thinking.
Say the title again.
Rules for Radicals, Saul Alinsky.
You won't like your buddy Obama anymore.
Yeah, Obama and Clinton both studied with Saul Alinsky. Hillary, not Bill.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think Bill knew what was happening to him. I think Bill's in a web of lies and stuff. I honestly believe Bill was a good old boy that they used like a rented mill.
I have to look back, and I have to agree with you on that. For sure. Yeah. And it got to the point when he woke up one day and he's like, damn, like it's too late now.
Yeah.
But
I've just been gaslighted.
Yeah. Obviously, you're not thinking right if you're married to Hillary. Let me put it that way. Like, at no point did I ever find that woman remotely attractive in an intellectual or any other way capacity, ever.
You like Hillary?
What? What'd you say?
Hillary was pretty hot in college,
dude.
Come on, you would.
No way.
You woulda.
Oh, I don't think on my drunkest benchwarmers night I would have said anything to her. Yeah, I don't think, man. I just.
I don't know. I've seen some of your victims.
Come on, not in front of us.
Victims.
Dude, Hillary was like, she was a dime in college, man.
Wow. I got nothing, man. I got nothing. But thanks for the entertainment, Joel. Yeah.
So that brings back to one of the books that I think that Mike and I read it a while ago, and I go back to it and listen to it from time to time. But there's a gentleman that wrote a book called The Sovereign Individual, and he in 1997 pretty much nailed what's happening right now. And like, what he didn't get right is stuff that's probably going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
And then I always pitch Peter Zion, but he just wrote another book, and I'm halfway through it, and it's absolutely amazing. It's crazy how good it is.
It's like a
It's a geopolitical book. There's a whole industry in the United States of guys that predict geopolitical thing. There was the first one was out of Utah, and it was called Stat4, and the guy's name was George Freeman, and he wrote some excellent books like The Next 100 Years. I've read most of them. Oh, the Gathering Storm, or no, is it not the Gathering Storm, but the storm, the calm after the storm, the calm before the storm, which is an amazing book. But
the end of the world is just beginning.
Yeah, that book. So I read the previous 3 books. They blew my mind. The World is Just Beginning takes him to a completely next level. And like, he is Peter Zion by himself with his staff has exceeded anything that Stat4 ever did in the 90s or 2000s. He has consistently nailed almost every topic. He was a little bit off. He got a little paranoid about COVID, but other than that, he's been amazingly accurate with his predictions. So
it's squirrely. Yeah, man, that was several years ago. I lived in Nebraska still when we did our book club on that, Richard.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while. But
it's a tough read, but man.
Yeah. Speaking of it's been a while, we're almost 2 hours into this. I've got early meetings tomorrow, so I'd like to start wrapping up if you don't mind, because I'm selfish. If that's all right with everybody else, and we could do our happy ending if you're good with that.
That kid's getting pretty big.
Dude, Buster's like, his head's almost the size of Raleigh's already. Yeah. Look at that, boys. Heed. Yeah.
Say hi. Say hi to everybody.
Hello, turd burglar. I'm getting paid enough for this.
Yeah.
Ralls, you want to start our happy ending off?
Oh, no, not really. I haven't thought about it.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll,
Joel, you look like you want a happy ending. What do you got going on?
Just like what I'm looking forward to.
Like best thing of the week or what you're looking forward to. Yeah. That's the rough transition.
2 things. Like I think this comedy show premiere will be fun tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Hopefully Tyler Fisher wants to be friends with me. And then this weekend I'm going up to Connecticut. My cousin Andy's birthday party is on Saturday. He's having a big party. He used to have like these parties at this bar on the Upper East Side called Stumble In.
Mm-hmm.
Be like over a couple hundred people would show up with his friends. And I don't know. I know so many people that are willing to come to this party, but he's gonna have like 100 people at his house on Saturday, and he's having it catered, and
nice.
Should be a good time. Just that and improving my dart game, Micah.
Outstanding. I like to hear that. I like that's hand-eye coordination. That's dedication. That's what I appreciate about it. Yeah.
Got a couple softball games, playoff games on Sunday too.
Playoffs?
Yeah, we're in the playoff. I didn't think we'd make the playoffs. We won 1 game. So we're in the playoffs.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Yeah. We used to have a pretty good.
And with me on the mound, they all want me on the mound.
Well, obviously,
I'm pitching.
Golden arm, man.
I'm getting hits, getting pinch runners every time I get a hit.
You're Shohei, man. Yeah.
Scoring runs, RBIs. Yeah.
Good old Ribby Curran. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a pretty fun intramural softball team in college. That was pretty good. What else you got? Fun. Oh yeah, it is. Very much so.
What else do I have?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't talk about it. I'm going to Ireland. So.
Wow. When?
I hate to break this news to you, Micah, because we always have a great time, but we're missing Roundup this year.
You're what? Really?
Yeah.
What the hell, dude?
Yeah, I figured I should probably I always use all my vacation time in Pendleton, and I'm like, maybe this year I'll actually go on. after the going on a cruise, I was like, this is a real vacation.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Kinda
going home
nice.
is like not really like that. It's like it's almost work. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I want to go on another vacation.
Mhm.
So I'll just do. So I go to Roundup this year. I'm going to go to Ireland.
It's a pretty good substitute. You know, I appreciate you telling me now. Yeah. So
Yeah. I'm going to miss you though.
yeah, dude, totally. That's gonna be different.
Probably
Yeah.
be just as fun.
Yeah, there might have been a chance I was going to get up there this year.
Well, now you can.
Another year without meeting you in person.
Yeah, like maybe we'll just have to. We'll plan better. Well, maybe we'll meet in Ireland next time. Yeah. So
Yeah, just come
you
to
should still
Ireland.
come anyways, Richard. Yeah, you can be my Joel this year.
I was thinking about it.
I'll give you
That'd
my
be good.
ticket.
Yeah, there you go. That's the least you can do. Yeah,
Which
I don't
is
watch
which
the
is
Roundup when I go to Pendleton.
it's right
Which
next to
is-
mine. Yeah.
yeah,
and
it's right
Curry's.
next to Micah's and Kurt's.
Okay.
ticket, so
Yeah, it's perfect tickets.
You can-
Yeah,
you
so
can have it.
that seems.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk more about this Ireland thing at some point. Yeah. So, Richard, is there a happy ending in your life? Oh, me.
Oh, I'm not going to be very happy. I just checked on our girls on the Mongolia race.
Yeah.
They're through checkpoint 3,
Cool.
doing some crazy. I've been checking to see if they're riding it together, and it doesn't look like they are.
Oh, it looks like they've separated a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
What place are they in?
doesn't really say.
I don't know what place they are. It just shows them on the map and where they're at.
Yeah.
I'm sure there might be a.
Oh, there's already some through checkpoint 4.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, if you go to the main map, you can see where everybody is, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what
there's
is this?
people. Oh, Olaf. Olaf's halfway between 4 and 5. Yeah.
Are they on the horse running the entire day?
Well, they have to be really careful, because if the horse's heart rate is up at a certain point when it comes into a checkpoint, they get docked 2 hours.
Yeah. If
guy
they do
that-
it too many times, they are fucking stopped. Yeah.
I guarantee you this would be better than the Tour de France or whatever.
Dude, yeah, it's beautiful country for one. And like it's like
Are there
crazy.
spectators? People watching it?
Sort
That
of.
I'm not sure of. I know like there's like a launch when everybody takes off, and then there's like the finish line. But I'm not sure how much is like in the interim, because you're like in the steppe of Mongolia, like you're in the outback.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do they
Yeah.
have like a monitor on the horse's heart rate so the rider knows what's going on there?
I don't believe it's a live monitor. I think it gets checked when it gets into the station. So they
How,
get it.
how are you
They
supposed
get
to know?
a. Well, it's pretty obvious if you're working your horse too hard in this case, I think, and they get a day to kind of get used to these horses a little bit. I think from reading or following a little bit about it as well. But I think it's. Well, I'm not going to speak of. I'm not there, but I don't think it's overly difficult to know if you're working your horse too hard in this situation, or at least that's what you get. I think you get a warning. I'm sure of that too, or when you check in your first one, like here's your horse's heart rate, or feel it and slow down.
But yeah, so there's been a couple and then there's some people that didn't quite get mounted and they had to chase the horse down. And then like Shandy had a weird she like doubled back and went way off course and then went diagonal back to the checkpoint 3. So it's weird. And I think there's a certain amount of latitude is to pick your terrain, because some of them went over the mountain yesterday and some of them stayed on like the main road where the caravan travels.
Yeah, your only real deal is like you just have to get from where you're at to the next checkpoint. That's, as far as I know, that's the only real like thing. Like just get here. So
since 9 o'clock this morning, which was whatever Micah did the math, they've already done 32 kilometers, which is what, about 16 miles?
roughly, yeah, 18. Yeah. So yeah, they're 12 hours ahead of us. So it's for me, they're 12 hours ahead of me. It's 10:52 p.m. in my time. So it's almost 11 o'clock in the morning where they're at.
How many days is this race?
I think you have up to 10 days to do it, but most people take between 7 and 8, I think is what it is.
So they
So-
stop somewhere and they just camp?
Yeah, they have
these
these check stations. You could stop at any time if you want. Yeah, but there's like actual like There's 27 individual stations that they're going to go through.
And
The
2 days,
checkpoints.
just going through 4, so they'll all end up at 5 tonight. So
yeah, if you just Google Mongol Derby or go to the equestrianist.com, you can see like the map with all the checkpoints. You can check individual riders and where they're at and their stats. And they have a lot of Twitter's did a pretty good job, and Facebook too, of do Facebook lives and some Twitter updates.
Twitter's so much better than Facebook. Facebook's still 22 hours behind right now.
Yeah, which is weird. So, anyways, yeah, it's tremendous. So they're just
I
getting
didn't think
started, but
I didn't think I'd get so much into this race.
way cool.
Yeah, but the way that it's pretty cool. So
yeah.
I hope they win. That'd be great.
Very much so. Yeah.
Is there a prize? What is the prize?
No.
$1 million?
I think you get the horses, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
You get all the money in Mongolia.
There you go. Keep the change, you filthy animal. Yeah.
Didn't have a fit.
Anything else, Richard? What do you got?
We'll talk about water rights next time.
Okay. I like that. That'll be good. Ralls, have you thought of anything happy yet?
Oh, I suppose. Then I forgot about it. I'm sitting here having a conversation with Buster.
Well, that's a pretty good thing unto itself, right?
Yeah, no, it is. It is good. Oh, I'm actually kind of looking forward to tomorrow morning going and that town hall with Vince and bringing up some issues that are local here. So that's kind of a highlight that I'm looking forward to outside of the daily grind of putting up hay. So
I sent you the in-stream water rights Farm Bureau thing. So ask him a question about that.
okay, yeah, I will.
Ask him why they're not doing economic studies for a state agency taking in-stream water rights. And if they are allowed to, shouldn't they have to do some economic impact studies before they do it?
Say that last part again.
So ask him, tell him about that you just learned about the Oregon Fish and Wildlife's in-stream water rights.
Correct.
And that they don't do any
economic studies.
Yeah, to see what the impact of taking water out of watersheds agriculture. So
okay,
because they don't factor in there's a
feedback.
Sorry, screw me up.
Probably Joel.
Well, they don't factor in the economic consequences of what they're doing. So they pretty much have carte blanche to take create water rights out of an already existing water system, create water rights out of it, encumber everybody else's water rights in the process once they get theirs. And they've done absolutely no economic impact as to what them interfering in this system is going to be. And given the value of water rights in these systems, I think that they should understand it's all great and fine to save the fish and the birds and everything, but if they're destroying communities in the meantime, then I see this as like the second coming of the spotted owl.
Damn.
So
anyway. Everything you do has an impact. Thanks for cheering us up, Richard. Appreciate that too. That's good.
Well, I just thought if you needed a question to ask Cliff Benson, that'd be a good one.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of questions to ask right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be talked about.
I concur. Anything else, Ralls?
Yeah. What do you think, Buster? You got anything to say? I'm gonna squeal and yell at them. Nope. We're pretty quiet now. So
it's only when you're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, what are you doing?
Well,
what are you doing, Dad? I'm building a rocket, son. Leave me alone. Yeah.
I want to know how much Cliff Benz can bench press. Can you ask him that for me?
I knew that was coming. I don't know.
That's the most important.
But I knew that was coming. Yeah.
Hey, how old do you guys think he is? How old do you think that our congressman is?
Cliff?
60.
Yeah.
69.
I must have a while ago.
84.
No way. Cliff's 84?
That's what I was told.
I don't really.
Doesn't look like it. And he's one of those guys. I don't think he plans on staying for more than his term, but he's wanting to try to get a lot of stuff done. Which
It's 70, I believe. He's born January 12th, 1952, according to.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
then I
that's
was
even
told-
his webpage.
Might have been
Yeah.
his dad. His dad's name was Cliff too.
Oh, okay.
So his dad
Well, his
had him
dad
when he was
was
fucking
14.
12. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
I don't know.
Those fucking Eastern Oregon rednecks.
I don't need to get all mathy and shit on you, Richard.
I was thinking he. I don't know what the original Cliff how old he would be now. So
He could be 12, I suppose.
Well, I guess ask him how old he is.
there's not a lot to do in Ventura.
How old are you? More importantly, how old was your father upon your conception? I believe he was born January 12th, 1952. Yeah.
What's his background? Is he a lawyer or something?
Yeah.
What's his deal?
Yeah.
He's a lawyer as well.
yeah, I've been scouring water rights stuff, and his name's all over a bunch of documents I have.
He
Yeah.
doesn't look 70 though. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
He's
Do people like him?
cookie.
People like
Yeah.
him out there?
He's a decent cat. Yeah, he's a decent
Yeah,
cat.
he's good. He's a sharp guy.
The whole Bent's family is well thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
No, he's good. Yeah. For mine, I was reminded of just how beautiful of friends that I have in this world, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. And the woman got home from Europe yesterday, and I didn't think I could ever miss somebody that much, and I surely did. So it was really good to see her. So
What's going on?
Oh,
yeah, well,
You got a
have to keep
girlfriend
up.
now?
You got to keep up. Yeah.
If I
I'll
ever
send you
meet her, I'll
some.
be like, he hasn't said much about it. But nice
You were
to meet
gonna meet her at Roundup, a-hole. Yeah.
you. Alright.
Yeah.
Where's she from?
Here in Florida.
In your town or what?
Yeah, she works at the university.
Nice.
I'll talk to you offline. Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah. So yeah. Mike is
that's
happy.
code for he's not telling shit.
Wow. I mean, like, so she works in genomics as well. She's wicked smart. She's sexier than shit. Funny. Yeah. So we get along really well. And so yeah, we were dating, and then she went to Europe for a couple weeks, and I think we both realized that we really like hanging out a lot. So yeah, she got back yesterday morning, or yesterday late afternoon, actually, like 2:00 they got back into town, and then I went and picked her up at like 4:00. So yeah. And we talked pretty much every day while she was gone, or when we could anyways. So
It's TMOing and stuff.
what's that?
TMOing, totally making out.
Yeah, totally, dude. Yeah. She's wicked smart at trivia. Like that was one of our first dates was trivia. We ended up getting like second place in the whole bar by like 2 points. We should have won. Yeah. So it's pretty
That's a
cool.
keeper right there.
What's that, Richard?
Was it Geeks Who Drink?
No, it's we were at the place called World of Beer. They have like a trivia thing there. You run over it's over your phone. There's like an app, but it's not Geeks Who Drink. Yeah.
Is World of Beer the place that was by the Hooters?
There's two in town. It's another one, but yeah, that is. Yeah, there's a nicer one closer to her place. Yeah. So yeah.
Hi guys.
Yeah, so we were the Genomic Gangsters is our trivia name. And look at the turd upside down. I'm waiting for him to just like load his pants and just drool it down Raleigh's shoulder. Yeah, that's my thought. Just foam coming over the top. Yeah.
Raleigh's used to that with his day job, I think.
He was not wearing gloves or nothing in this case. Yeah. So, but yeah, Joel, you were going to get a chance to meet her at Roundup, but you might just have to come visit this direction, or we'll go that way. So we'll see.
Kind of want to go back there for a Oregon State football game this year. Maybe the two of you guys, and if Raleigh wants to go too, but it probably has to work.
Go where?
Football game, Oregon State football game.
Oh, back in Corvallis?
Yeah. I kind of want to
cool.
go back there for a game this year.
I haven't been to a game in a long time. Yeah.
I mean, the last one was when we lost to Sacramento State.
Damn. Yeah, I wouldn't go back after that either.
Yeah.
Affirmative. Yeah, but outstanding. Well, I think we'll wrap this episode up for now. Appreciate everybody coming by and saying howdy. Again, thank you to our supremely good friends at B&K Auto. Can't tell you how much I appreciate everything they do for us and hopefully what we do for them as well. But Bo and the team, you guys are awesome. Keep it up. We'll have some new updated promo codes coming out soon. Buster, you're going to be all right, son. I think you're going to be all right. But, you guys got questions, comments, concerns? We'll have a Buster's public appearance schedule coming out soon, so you can come track him down. Maybe he'll be your friend too. Hopefully Joel gets to be friends with the comedian also, but keep all the comments coming. We appreciate it. We will get back on schedule. We do promise. It's a bit sort of random, but that's what we're all about. So we're going to go from there. Until next time, we'll see y'all soon. And until then, you just got to keep on reaching.